Whispers from the Attic. Round pushpin based on a real case from Massachusetts, USA, where an antique dealer discovered a whispering doll sealed inside an attic trunk, tied to a missing child case from 1921. Eleanor Blake had just inherited her late uncle's house in rural Massachusetts, a creaky old Victorian with an untouched attic. She brought her nephew, Tommy, for company while she began restoring the place. In the attic, Eleanor found a locked trunk beneath a blanket of dust. When opened, it revealed a glass-eyed doll in a tattered dress, wrapped in lace and sealed in wax. Tommy was drawn to the doll instantly. "She said her name is Anora," he whispered. Eleanor froze. No one had said the doll's name. That night, Eleanor heard faint murmurs through the vents, whispers that didn't match Tommy's voice. When she entered his room, he was fast asleep, but the doll was sitting by the vent. Mrs. Levin, the elderly neighbor, warned Eleanor. A girl named Anora vanished in that house in 1921. Her body was never found, but they said she had a doll that whispered. Tommy's drawings changed. He now sketched a tall black figure behind a little girl. "It's her shadow," he told Eleanor. "It follows her when she's scared." Eleanor heard music from the attic, a broken lullaby on repeat. When she climbed up, the trunk was open again, and the doll was missing. She found the doll at the foot of her bed the next morning. Its head was turned to face her. Its mouth was slightly open now. Mrs. Levin gave her an old police contact, Detective Harris. He recalled the case. That doll was sealed for a reason. Anora believed it protected her from him. But in the end, it turned. Tommy grew quieter. At night, he sat whispering to the doll. "She says the man is waking up," he muttered one night. "And he's angry we let her out." Objects moved on their own. Cabinets opened, dishes shattered. In the attic, black handprints began to appear on the walls, upside down like something crawled. Eleanor confronted the doll. "What do you want?" she shouted. The room fell silent. Then, in Tommy's voice, it whispered, "To finish what I started." That night, Eleanor dreamed she was buried alive. Dirt filled her mouth. Above her, a girl with hollow eyes held the doll and smiled. Mrs. Levin said a ritual could bind the doll again, but needed something personal from Anora. Eleanor found a hair ribbon under the attic floorboards, still stained with blood. During the ritual, Tommy screamed as shadows tried to pull him through the attic floor. Eleanor held on, chanting as the doll writhed in firelight. The attic went still. The doll had melted into wax and ash. Eleanor fainted from exhaustion, but Tommy woke up smiling. "She's quiet now," he said. Eleanor sealed the trunk again, burying the remains under concrete. She sold the house within the month, never looking back. But 2 years later, a new family moved in. On their first night, the daughter cried, saying her doll was talking to her through the vents. The parents laughed, until the next morning when they found her cradling something in her arms. "Her name is Anora," she said. "No one truly knows what Anora wanted, but the doll always returns. And once a child hears her whisper, it's already too late." The Cursed Doll of Waverly. Based on the real-life haunted doll Okiku from Japan, stored at Menenji Temple in Hokkaido. In 2011, Elliot Gray visited Japan in search of rare artifacts. In a dusty antique shop in Hokkaido, he found a doll with long, black hair and wide porcelain eyes. The shopkeeper refused payment. "Take her," he muttered. "She's already chosen you." Back at his hotel, Elliot placed the doll on the nightstand. That night, he dreamed of a little girl sobbing beneath falling cherry blossoms. She kept repeating, "Bring me home." When he awoke, the doll had shifted its position, facing him directly. Elliot met Dr. Naomi Sato, a folklorist. Upon seeing the doll, her expression turned grim. "This resembles Okiku, a doll believed to hold a child's spirit. Her hair is said to grow." Elliot laughed until he measured it. The next day, it was longer. Strange incidents followed. Lights flickering, voices in static, cold drafts with no source. The doll's kimono sometimes smelled faintly of incense. Naomi insisted they visit Menenji Temple, where Okiku was originally enshrined. The temple's caretaker, Takashi Mori, trembled when he saw the doll. "This is her. She was never meant to leave." He led them to a shrine deep within the temple. "She still waits for her brother," he whispered. That night, they stayed at the temple. Naomi awoke to the sound of humming, a child's lullaby. In the hallway, she saw a figure. A girl in a white kimono, her hair covering her face. The doll was no longer in the shrine. They found the doll kneeling by the temple's koi pond, facing the water. As Elliot reached for it, a girl's voice echoed, "Don't take me away again." The pond rippled violently despite no wind. Takashi revealed the tragic tale. The doll belonged to a girl who died during a blizzard. Her spirit was said to have bonded to the doll, waiting for her older brother who never returned. Anyone separating them invites her wrath. Determined to help, Elliot and Naomi searched old temple records. They discovered the boy had died in the war. His ashes were stored in a government archive nearby. Naomi made arrangements to retrieve them. They brought the boy's ashes to the temple. That night, the doll was placed beside them. A faint glow enveloped both urn and doll. The temperature dropped suddenly, and a soft, childlike laugh echoed across the room. The next morning, the doll's hair had stopped growing. Her eyes seemed softer, no longer filled with sorrow. Naomi smiled. "She's at peace now." But Takashi warned, "Only if no one tries to separate them again." Elliot documented the story for his blog. But a week later, a reader claimed they visited the temple and tried to take a photo. Their phone shattered mid-shot, screen scorched black. Naomi's colleague tried to replicate the phenomenon with high-tech gear. All his files were corrupted. One image remained. A girl's face staring into the lens, eyes full of sorrow and rage. Rumors spread that the doll blinked if you stared too long. A temple worker quit after claiming it spoke to him. "She's awake again," he kept muttering, refusing to return. The doll was eventually sealed in a glass enclosure, wrapped with protective sutras. But sometimes hair clippings appeared on the altar, as if someone was trimming it, though no one ever did. Visitors still report faint giggles and tugging on their clothes, especially children. One boy said, "She was looking for her brother, but now she's looking for me." A paranormal documentary tried to film the doll's shrine. Cameras glitched, batteries drained. On playback, they heard a whisper, "Why are you watching me?" Elliot never collected again. He now travels speaking on cultural respect and spiritual artifacts. "Some things don't belong in private hands," he says. "Some spirits want to be left alone." Naomi continues to study folklore, but never enters that shrine again. "We honored her wish," she says. "Let's not wake her again." The temple now remains closed after sundown. Even sealed in her case, the doll's legend grows. Tourists still report dreams after visiting her. A girl with long black hair, always standing at the foot of their bed. Watching. Waiting. The doll in the floorboards. Asterisk based on the real-life discovery of a haunted Victorian doll hidden inside a house wall in Liverpool, UK, with a sinister note. Claire Reynolds moved into a 200-year-old townhouse in Liverpool with her daughter, Mia. The house had character. Creaky floors, antique wallpaper, and oddly cold air in the upstairs bedroom. While fixing a warped floorboard in Mia's room, Claire found an old cloth bundle stuffed beneath it. Inside was a hand-stitched doll, smiling, stained, and missing one eye. A brittle note was pinned to its dress. The note read, "My name is Emily. I killed the children. Bury me back or they'll return." Claire chuckled nervously, assuming it was a cruel prank from a previous tenant. Mia, however, refused to sleep in that room. That night, footsteps echoed upstairs when no one was there. Mia's toys were rearranged into a perfect circle on the floor. "Emily played with them," she whispered. Claire contacted Dean Holloway, a local historian. Upon hearing the name Emily, his expression darkened. That house had a tragic past. A girl named Emily disappeared there in 1879. Her siblings died mysteriously weeks later. Dean and Claire examined parish archives. A child's drawing was found, crude but disturbing. It showed a smiling doll hovering over two sleeping children. "The devil in cotton," a caption read. At home, Mia refused to eat. "Emily says food is poison," she said. Claire tried to laugh it off, but that night, she found scratch marks inside Mia's closet. Dean suggested burying the doll back where it was found, but as Claire reached for it, she heard a child's giggle and was pushed backwards. No one else in the room. Desperate, Claire called Father Elijah Crane, a retired priest known for handling spiritual matters. Upon seeing the doll, he trembled. "This isn't a toy, it's a vessel." Father Crane performed a cleansing prayer. The moment he began, the house seemed to groan. Lights burst. Mia shrieked from upstairs. Something had pulled her from her bed. They found Mia under her bed, shaking. Her arm had long claw-like scratches. "Emily said she didn't want to leave again," she cried. Father Crane declared the doll must be sealed and buried with ritual protection. He carved protection symbols onto the floorboard where it had been found. That night, Claire dreamed of drowning children, tiny hands pulling her under. She woke gasping. Mia was standing at her bedside, eyes glazed, whispering, "She's still here." Dean returned with a shocking discovery. Emily was never found because she was entombed beneath the house by her own parents, who believed she was possessed. They buried her with the doll. They pried open the crawlspace under the house. Inside were bones, long decayed, and a second identical doll. This one was grinning wider. Father Crane performed final rites, placing both dolls in a lead-lined box, sealing it with holy wax and rosaries. The box was buried under church grounds. Afterward, the house fell eerily silent. No more footsteps, no more whispers. Mia started sleeping peacefully again. The cold air was finally gone. But weeks later, Claire received an anonymous envelope. Inside was a photo. Mia asleep in bed, the original doll sitting beside her. Claire hadn't taken the photo. Claire rushed to check Mia's room, empty. The closet door creaked open. The old cloth bundle lay there again. The note was back, rewritten. "She never left. No one knows how the doll returned." But every family who's lived there since reports the same thing. Toys move, whispers in the walls, and a girl's giggle at 3 a.m. Emily is waiting.